Underground, a rescue team does not enter a stable accident scene. The rock may still be shifting, water may still be rising, and the only map may be wrong. We are here to determine the GOAT of underground mine rescue operations involving trapped survivors. The field is underground mine rescue operations involving trapped survivors. Every attempt to reach survivors can open a new path for air and supplies, or create a fresh route for collapse, flooding, and gas. A mine rescue usually has 4 linked problems. Rescuers must locate the trapped people, keep them alive, create a route to them, and then bring them out without losing control of the ground above or below. Success in one stage means little if the next stage fails. The geometry is merciless. Tunnels turn, levels overlap, and old workings may be flooded or missing from modern plans. A borehole, meaning a narrow shaft drilled from the surface, can miss its target by meters after traveling through hundreds of meters of rock. The tools evolved from breathing teams and hand excavation to seismic listening, remote machinery, directional drilling, supply tubes and capsules narrow enough to pass through a rescue shaft. Yet the old virtues never disappeared. Accurate information, disciplined command, and people willing to enter danger for strangers. To compare rescues fairly, raw drama is not enough. We will judge survival, the depth and duration of entrapment, technical originality, coordination under uncertainty, and the influence the operation left behind. A perfect outcome matters, but so does the size of the problem that had to be solved. That last point is crucial. The fastest rescue may begin with easier access. The largest may still lose many people. The strongest operation is the one that keeps expanding the margin between hope and catastrophe, while refusing to turn urgency into a second disaster. In Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, on October 23, 1958, the mine suffered what miners call a bump. A violent release of underground pressure that can crush supports and collapse roadways like a buried earthquake. 174 miners were working in the colliery when 3 shock waves tore through it. Trained rescue miners with breathing equipment, known locally as dravermen, descended into unstable passages and deadly gas. Others entered without breathing gear. The last living men were found on November 1st, more than a week after the bump, after rescuers had repeatedly pushed through blocked and deteriorating workings. 100 miners were rescued, an extraordinary achievement in a mine that was still physically hostile to the people searching it, but 74 died. Spring Hill set a standard for endurance and courage, while also showing the limit of a rescue built mainly around human entry into a shattered underground world. At Beaconsfield in Tasmania, a rock fall struck on April 25, 2006, while 17 miners were underground. 14 reached a safety chamber and escaped. 1 man died. 2 others remained sealed behind rock, 925 meters deep. The operation used a remote-controlled heavy loader fitted with cameras to work where another collapse could kill rescuers. It removed obstructing machinery and attacked the rock falls while crews searched for the missing men. 5 days after the accident, contact confirmed that both were alive. The final approach demanded slow, controlled excavation rather than heroic speed. On May 9th, after 14 days in a confined space, both men came out alive. Beaconsfield was a masterclass in precision and restraint. Though its extraction problem involved 2 survivors in a known pocket rather than a large group whose location was initially uncertain. At Currican, Pennsylvania, the danger arrived as water. On July 24, 2002, miners broke into abandoned workings that were not shown correctly on the map being used. Water rushed through the breach and trapped 9 men beyond the flooded passage. Crews drilled a narrow communication hole, heard the miners tapping on the steel, and pumped water from several points. At the same time, they began a 30-inch rescue shaft. The water level had to be lowered enough for the new hole to enter the mine without becoming another inlet. All 9 miners were brought up in a capsule after between 76 and 78 hours underground. It was a perfect survival result, achieved by coordinating drilling, pumping, communications, and contingency planning. Its weakness in this comparison is scale and duration, not execution. Quikrete solved a ferocious problem before prolonged isolation became a separate enemy. The Lenged rescue in West Germany began with a flood. It happened in October of 1963. Of the 129 workers below, Groups escaped by the main shaft, a supply tunnel, a rope ladder through a borehole, and later rescue attempts. But others were forced from one cavity to another as the water rose. 21 men reached a small underground space. Falling debris killed 10 of them, and the remaining 11 endured hunger, thirst, injuries, and the belief above ground that no one could still be alive. A memorial service was scheduled. Miners who refused to give up persuaded the operation to make one final drilling attempt. The drill reached the cavity. Tapping answered from below. T went down a narrow pipe, and 4 days later, a rescue capsule brought the 11 survivors out. Across the entire disaster, 100 miners survived, and 29 died. Lenjit became the strongest historical rival because it joined persistence, probing, life support, and capsule extraction. But it could not deliver survival for everyone caught underground. The GOAT is the 2010 Copiapó mining rescue. On August 5th, a collapse at the San Jose Gold and Copper Mine trapped 33 men about 2,300 feet beneath Chile's Atacama Desert. The main route was blocked, and no one on the surface knew whether the refuge had survived. For 17 days, rescuers drilled toward the underground workings, while the miners rationed the little food and drinkable water available. On August 22nd, a probe finally reached them. It returned with confirmation that all 33 were alive, turning a search for possible survivors into a mission to sustain an entire community underground. The first successful hole was far too small for a person. It became a lifeline instead. Through narrow supply tubes, the surface could send food, water, medicine, communications equipment, and the practical pieces of daily life needed to survive a confinement that no rescue calendar could yet end. Keeping people alive for days is emergency relief. Keeping 33 people healthy for weeks is a managed habitat. The miners needed routines for sleep, sanitation, exercise, work, communication, and conflict. The surface needed reliable inventories and delivery schedules because a missed package was no longer an inconvenience. It was a systems failure. The Chilean command brought together mining engineers, drill crews, medical teams, the Navy, government agencies, and international specialists. That coordination did not erase uncertainty. It divided uncertainty into problems that different teams could own, test, and report without pretending the whole operation was under control before it truly was. Chile asked the National Aeronautics and Space Administration for advice, because long space missions also involve isolation, restricted supplies, medical risk, and a hostile environment outside the habitat. NASA specialists helped with nutrition, psychology, exercise, medical monitoring, and the requirements for the capsule that would eventually carry each miner upward. Contact was only the middle of the rescue. The operation still needed a shaft large enough for a person, drilled through hard rock to a target more than half a kilometer below. Large diameter rescue drilling is difficult because cuttings must be removed, the drill string must stay controlled, and every delay consumes the survivor's physical and psychological reserve. Directional drilling, which steers or corrects a borehole rather than simply trusting gravity, helps avoid voids and badly fractured ground. But steering does not make the geology obedient. The platform, compressors, water supply, drill tools, and crews all have to work as one chain, because the slowest missing component can stop the entire shaft. When the extraction route was ready, the miners faced a journey of roughly 624 meters through a narrow shaft. The capsule had to fit inside a hole that could vary in diameter and alignment. It also had to remain stable while moving past rough rock, without becoming wedged where rescuers could not easily reach it. There was no suitable capsule waiting on a shelf. Enders developed requirements from scratch. Then Chile's Navy built the Finjik system. Spring-loaded guide wheels helped it follow the shaft. Communications and oxygen supported the passenger. Its dimensions balanced the miner's body against the unforgiving width of the drilled route. The design also planned for failure. A miner could communicate during the ascent, and the restraint system controlled his position. If the capsule became stuck, its lower section and harness arrangement offered a way to lower the passenger back towards safety, rather than leaving him suspended inside the shaft. The passengers had to be engineered for the trip as carefully as the machine. The miners exercised before extraction. Medical teams assessed the order of ascent, managed hydration, and used compression garments to reduce circulation problems during the rapid change from prolonged confinement to a vertical ride toward the surface. On October 13th, Rescue personnel descended first, and the capsule began carrying the miners up one by one. Each ascent was monitored, each arrival handed to medical teams, and the same narrow route had to keep working trip after trip. Nearly 69 days after the collapse, all 33 men were above ground. Prue Creek achieved perfect survival faster. Legend proved that a final borehole could defeat official despair, but GOATpedia combined a perfect outcome with unprecedented duration, great depth, a large trapped group, sustained life support, international coordination, purpose-built extraction hardware, and repeated safe operation. That does not excuse the collapse or erase the miners' later hardships. It does explain the title. This was not one brilliant trick, but a chain of systems in which every link had to hold. Its GOAT status matters because it shows that underground hope becomes credible only when engineering gives it more than one way home.